Alright, now we're in the Arkham Mansion properly. You recall, we were told by a bunch of goons to piss off, so now it's time for us to surprise them.
Yeah, me too. I'd rip his head off and give it to Joker for a paperweight.
And then Joker would kill you for that.
I mean, he would probably do that anyway. Guy needs to
Joker's
entertain himself.
Joker is surprisingly random. Sometimes, if he really does like a certain henchman, he'll actually let him live for a while, since he does have those random guys he actually does really like.
Well, the whole gimmick is unpredictability, chaos, and all.
I bet you said it was like a blooper in a Batman movie. Tries to fly over to the statue, but misses.
I do like those takes where goons choose to work for Joker just because he's actually a legit fun boss most of the time. Like, sure, it's a bit of a gamble, but apparently there are some iterations where he is legit just that fun to work for in the criminal community.
Oh wow, Sharpie managed to get a statue dedicated to him. No ego whatsoever.
It seems like Warden Sharp has a few ambitions.
I don't remember if I mentioned for how much he has been the director of the asylum, but it cannot really be that much.
I am pretty sure, going off of the lore, he had only recently become the warden.
Like for a while, but not as much.
Okay, I forget if it was like a novel or a comic, but basically, apparently, right before Batman brings Joker to Arkham, there's a whole bit with him telling the staff of Arkham that
my journey lasted little over a month, visiting academics in both Metropolis and Keystone.
Yeah, I'm sure the people of Metropolis will have, a lot to tell you, or, okay, remind me, was Keystone the one for Flash?
I ended it kneeling.
It might have been
because I'm not sure you need to gain that much knowledge, especially on the human psyche, from the people who cannot even have basic safety, procedures for their chemical labs.
Okay, so here's the deal. It's the city for the first and third Flash, but not for Barry.
Oh, so it's Jay Garrick and Wally West. Okay.
Yeah. Barry's a central city, basically. Keystone City was Jay Garrick and Wally West.
Anyway, you were saying, Jova?
I think it was a comic that takes place right before the start of Arkham Asylum that has Quincy Sharp basically going, look, we have been made a mockery for the last time. It's time to finally show Gotham the right role model or some jazz like that, and insisting on not letting Joker escape, which definitely implies that he's, like, recently a new warden of Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Origin will also expand upon that by having the Metal Gear Solid style post-credit dialogue, not seeing, conversation on telephone or newscast, telling that it's his idea to actually open up Arkham Asylum again because it had been closed for a while.
Credit to the devs, apparently they had a lot of things in the pipeline since, again, there's actually not just foreshadowing for this game, but foreshadowing for other games plastered throughout this game and whatnot.
I will mention when it becomes relevant because I will showcase it. Also, I think I mentioned in a previous part, but another absolute thing to love is the ragdoll physics. Sometimes it gets very unpredictable.
Love them. But yeah, no, I like to imagine that they actually had a bunch of the design concepts and whatnot, and they figured, well, shoot, let's foreshadow them, basically, so that if we do get to make them...
Oh, Batman is taking a dump. Was that the best illustration you could convey for an alpha upgrade? Holy shit.
I have to imagine that for the next gen of gaming at the time, it looked awesome.
Gone.
But yeah, no, that would be interesting if their thought pattern was, hey, we've got ideas, so let's, poke at them in a way that is like, it could happen, but would really? Which, admittedly, that was kind of a lot of things that the Arkham games ran a lot of fuel off of. Speculation. Holy cow, the speculation on Arkham City was immensely through the roof, because let's be honest, we had seen nothing before a game like Arkham Asylum, so one could only imagine what they were going to do with something like City.
Bigger.
So, and as you can imagine, after City came out and was like the absolute doorstopper that it was, speculation for what would come next was through the roof. Which is why some people were kind of let down by Origins, which I do feel is a bit unfair. It wasn't even Rocksteady, but obviously, as you can imagine, there was a ton of speculation on Arkham Knight, including who might come.
Do I look stupid? Do you think I'm just gonna turn around so when you laymasters can jump me? Ah, like that'll happen.
I don't wear hockey pants.
I didn't even say hockey pads.
But this actually brings you something new to the table.
What's
Also
that
that
color?
rendering.
Why is it making that noise?
It's the suicide collar, but it sounds weird.
Suicide color.
Well, they've got some other name, but, well, we just use them to monitor patients' heartbeats. If it drops too low, the alarm goes off and a crash team rushes in.
And so does my crew if you trigger one.
Lovely. Meaning that from now on, in pretty much every single Predator encounter, if you actually knock down an enemy and the others do not notice that, Joker will know and will tell the others to go check out.
Way to up the ante.
I won't spoil the
I love that in the other games they will need to replicate this mechanic via very convoluted means by say, oh, for example, oh, the penguin is tracking down these ghouls via their heartbeat somehow.
Okay, to be fair, given all the money and resources Oswald has, it made sense he
You
was
get
like
what I mean.
the second
sometimes,
biggest.
Sometimes it reaches very ridiculous level to justify, particularly combined also with the stuff that Origin is guilty of, as it is supposed to be a prequel even to this, but its level of technological advancement feels way up ahead.
True, yeah. Origins does kind of make you think, wow, Batman was just decided to nerf himself for Asylum.
Now, to
when
be
you think
fair,
about
my
it.
suspension of disbelief can tell me... Oh, strange transfer. My suspension of disbelief can tell me that for this particular adventure, Batman was not completely 100% prepared in that to adapt to the punch. So, you know, I can't believe he will leave a bunch of, you know, tools at home in his Batcave. But, like, I don't know, man. For other stuff, it just feels weird. Anyway, don't worry. I'm about to absolutely clown, no pun intended, on these people. So, please enjoy. Go on, Drova.
Okay. Yeah, no, like, the speculation for Arkham Knight was not just through the roof. It was taking the world by storm because, and again, a lot of this has to do with stuff that happened in City, so since we're obviously tackling that, I won't spoil the big details. All you need to know is that City set the stage for a massive escalation, essentially. Again, like Origins, some people felt a bit let down by Knight, but I don't know, nowadays people seem to be a bit more keen on it, essentially.
I don't really know much about the consensus, you know, in general from other people. I can tell you what do I think right now, Drova. Of course, I will elaborate when we get there, but specifically, I absolutely love the gameplay because in a previous part you asked me which game was my favorite, and I reiterate that it's, you know, that one.
Of course.
But the story, while it has a great start, I feel it fumbles very quickly, and especially towards the end, it never recovers completely.
Hey, Tio, special mention goes to that big side quest in City, which seems to be hinting at, you know, that one villain having a big
I will let to mention when we get there, which is a good reminder of something else. Like you know, I will also mention more when we get to Origins and Night. But despite being developed by a different team and the fact that Warner Bros, at least the gaming division, I'm not sure about the entire company, doesn't seem to want to remember Origin these days when it comes to re-releases and compilation. Rocksteady was actually a good sport in actually fully, you know, treating Origins as fully canon, because elements from it in terms of, you know, gadgets, upgrades that you can get, and of course characters and events are fully referenced and not really like retconned to suit the narrative better, you know. Sure, some things could have been done better, but again, Rocksteady was fully committed in not ignoring what did happen, which is appreciated.
I will say, you do touch a good base on my thought process with the Arkham series. Like, obviously the gameplay just gets better and better with each game. So if I was ranking things strictly on gameplay, yeah, Knight would probably take the cake, even with some of its questionable gameplay design elements.
We just
Yes, I do love
lying
this
on
one.
the same spot. What morals?
Like moths to the flame, and yes, what Tio's doing is my favorite takedown during Predator
It's
sequences.
also the crutch one, meaning that again, by the end of this game and the next couple of ones, we'll try to find ways to prevent you from spamming this, understandably.
So of course it's cool when you do manage to spam it, essentially. But yeah, no, like, I do feel like ranking Arkham games can be a bit complicated. Like, I will say this. For the longest time, people thought Arkham City was obviously the GOAT, gameplay and story, but, as time passed, while people still, of course, respect the hell out of the gameplay, the improvement of bosses, gameplay, and map and everything, that story of City has not aged the best. Okay, let me put it like this. It's not terrible, but it definitely reads as just an excuse for Batman to face his rogues gallery, essentially. And do it all on his own because he's the goddamn Batman. He's a loner, even when Nightwing flipping offers to help.
Because starting with City, they started to reference more and more the Nolan movies, where he mostly operated solo. And unfortunately, when it came instead to Night, they also wanted to reference The Dark Knight Returns, which is its own kind of worms. But again, that's a story for another time.
How long has it been since we did those commentaries?
Too long. I don't remember. I know the story about the adaptation from the animated adaptation in 2 parts, but I don't remember almost anything from our commentary. So yes, it would be nice to look back at them at some point.
Hello? Someone please respond.
Going after the notes yourself, eh, Bats? Good luck.
Anyway, for now, as Aaron Cash told us, we need to find Dr. Young and her research, because as noted in the previous part, it's best if Joker doesn't get his hands on that.
I forget if I asked you which is your favorite Arkham plot.
Plot-wise, okay, I will say probably this one. Like, I know about the Demerit Event Origins as a hilariously enough origin story, but this one has the better idea of being contained just enough to be like an extended episode of the animated series, if you look down to it. Also, here's Amadeus Arkham Cell. The dude did not really have a good end.
Circles of words and text.
There
Surely the man was a poet.
There are some stories that imply that the location of Arkham Asylum is basically built on top of some eldritch, abomination knowledge, but that gets retconned regularly in and out, so it's never consistently canon. But even or not, Libs, there was a time, I think still during the New 52 period, where DC was all in on the idea of the Joker not being just, a regular criminal that had the gimmick and, the madness going on, the specific origin story in his obsession with Batman. No. He's an incarnation of an eldritch, spirit of chaos that is infested Gotham for the millennia, and that's why he can never get fully rid of.
Oh yeah, that's right, because for Death of the Family, Jim Gordon finally shanks him, only for him to get right back up, because only Batman can cancel out his evil.
I think they were also implying that with the Free Joker storyline, but who the fuck knows with that one? The point is that that element has been fully, quietly forgotten and for the better.
Well, I mean, if you don't mind spoilers regarding Free Jokers...
I already know anything about the story anyway.
They may have implied it, but the actual twist with Free Jokers is that, no, that was just Joker doing some weird, messed up therapy to help Batman get over his deal with Joe Chill, basically. It turns out Joker just made 2 other guys
Jokers. Here's an interesting corpse. Rachel Ghoul is apparently in the morgue. I'm giving him 5 minutes before he gets resurrected again. He tends to do that.
Now, as for why he might
1971, yeah. Go on.
now as for why he might be at the asylum, that is some extra lore stuff that I don't know if I should mention here or
It's
save
all
for City,
connected.
basically.
Well, I can
but
tell
yeah.
you the inspiration. Neil Adams tried to revamp the myth of the Bat by, properly shaping up his origin story, creating the figure of Rachel Ghul, the League of Assassins, and Bruce training with them, doing his 1-year tour through the world or some shit like that, And as a result, created them to be a powerful organization that infested the underground of Gotham and secretly tried to plot in order to not necessarily take over the city, but do some selective cleansing of what they consider evil. That's basically their main shtick.
Also, game, don't think I don't see that black mask there.
I mean, it's pretty much, there so you can analyze it
also-
for the Riddler.
Dr. Young.
Also, Joe, I know what race was doing at Arkham Asylum.
I need to follow her. and
Plastic
find out where
surgery,
she's
so we don't need to have Liam Neeson.
Well, no,
Yeah.
he's dead, and that's his corpse there. That's why he's there.
How do you mask
Well,
your
oh-
feeling without losing control? Be prepared because this particular continuity hates Black Mask. It hates him with a passion. And to be fair, considering he himself is kind of a bastard, he kind of deserves it. So,
Oh,
if
no,
you-
no. Black Mask in the Arkham continuity is basically the guy who knows he's got a crap deal, so he decides to just make everyone else's lives worse for it.
Like, Dweebs, I'm so sad that you basically got exposed to him mostly via the Birds of Prey movie, but I can assure you that the guy in the comic is at least a bit better.
Oracle. I'm on Dr. Young's.
Is that Ewan
I feel
McGregor's character?
Yeah.
I feel like Black Mask is at his best when he's basically meant to be the sort of pseudo down-to-earth villain who toes the line between supervillain and like
Mobster,
mob boss,
yeah.
essentially, who basically puts the other crime bosses in their place, essentially. I'd say he's at his worst when he's basically kind of just a murderous psychopath with a gimmick. Then there was that weird time he decided to dress up as Batman. Weird.
I'm surprised more villains don't try doing that often. Just put on a convincing Batman disguise and have him do stuff Batman wouldn't normally do to discredit him.
Well, to an
We also
extent,
have him-
That was what the Penguin was trying to do in Returns, framing Batman for the murder of the ice skater.
We also have him to thank for putting Stephanie Brown on ice for a bit, except not really. That was just a retcon because one of Bruce's closest confidants just decided, nah, I'm gonna torture him by making him think that she was dead instead of her actually being dead. Seriously, what the hell, Leslie Tompkins?
Everyone's favorite retcon, someone just got hypnotized, into doing some weird shit. Just ask Norman Osborn.
Jesus. But yeah, no. Believe it or not, the person who took the most offense to Stephanie Brown's death, obviously aside from Batman and the Bat Family, was Joker, who basically said, no, killing Robin's my job. What the hell are you doing? And proceeded to empty a few bullets worth into Black Mask's knees for that.
That was also needed because that event, I forgot what it's called,
War crime.
End War, and possibly Endgame, because it was about Batman was supposedly dead because of the event of Final Crisis. Because comic books, and instead he was traveling through time in order to get back to the present. Again, comic books. So the people in the present were just living with that. Nightwing had become Batman as a result, and Stephanie Brown had uncovered a plan that Bruce had that supposedly served as a way of taking down all of the mobster families of Gotham in a super gambit, and she was trying to do that in order to uncover who thought was potentially responsible for something happened to Bruce, which was labeled as Matches Malone, not knowing that was instead Bruce's cover identity. And when she realized she fucked up, that's where Black Mask took over instead.
Pretty much, yeah. Now, mind you, I forgot that takes place after Final Crisis, since, comic continuity tends to get a little muddy there, but I will say this. The era where Dick Grayson is Batman is actually not bad. I legit do love Battle for the Cowl, though the fact Dick Grayson actually managed to beat out even, like, flipping Batgirl. Oh, right, I should specify Cassandra Cain Batgirl because there are multiples. But I guess, to be fair, it is Dick Grayson, so I kind of get why it was him.
Oh, there you go. Hey, by the way, enjoy the gimmick umbrella in the top hat, because the Penguin in this particular continuity won't really wear them when we get to see him.
Which is like...
And just wait when you see what they did with his monocle in this.
It's like, we even see the top hat later. I don't know why they never show him actually wearing them, though.
They already tried to do the whole British gangster shtick with him, you know, for this continuity, and it just feels very weird. I get that maybe they did not wanted to have him be a carbon copy of Danny DeVito's performance for Batman Returns. Like, was that a gimmick that he had in the Batman? As in
he was
the animated series.
Oh, the animated series? No. I mean, the animated series, he was definitely fashioned after Danny DeVito's Batman.
No, I'm talking about the animated series called The Batman from the early 2000s.
Yes, the 2004 series. He was fashioned after Danny DeVito's as Penguin. Like, he had the razor-sharp teeth, the mutated fingers, stout thing. That said, he was if Danny DeVito's Penguin could actually do kung fu, which was awesome. He had the trick umbrellas as well. I forget if they implied that his family came from Britain. Like, lately they've definitely been making the Cobblepots out to be British more so, like they did so in Telltale, in the Batman Telltale game.
Alright.
But not so much with the Batman, the series, essentially.
To the library, which is where we need to find supposedly the formula that Dr. Young has taken, because we're following her fingerprints. Go on.
The main thing of note linking the Waynes with the Cobblepots in the Batman 2004 series is that the Pennyworths actually used to work for the Cobblepots, but turns out the Cobblepots were pretty crap employers across the generations, and eventually the Pennyworths quit and went over to work for the Waynes.
Well, that in itself, outside of, you know, the Pennyworths, has been a kind of a staple, even taken more recently in the Scott Snyder run. The idea that, despite being one of the founding families of Gotham, the Cobblepots have always been, you know, the bad one, you know, the one that wanted to just make profit and lave away all the citizens of the city, when instead the Waynes wanted to apply, you know, actual progress in order for the city to flourish.
Now, the Batman Telltale series actually does something very interesting with that, but if I recall correctly, you and Dwibs haven't seen those, so I'm not going to spoil.
Okay, I don't remember the full details, but I know the big twist regarding you know what character.
It depends, there are actually a few twists. Are you referring?
The one that gets... Okay, it's similar to what happens in Mask of a Phantasm, you know, a character you don't know the identity of, and you get that revealed at the end of the season. Yeah.
That's actually not the twist I'm talking about, but fair beans. I'll just say there's a twist with the Waynes and the Cobblepots and how the lore is conducted there. I know that
Season 2 has this weird gimmick where the Joker is quasi-sane and he's working with Bruce somehow.
Yeah, Season 2 did an interesting thing that kind of inverts the relationship with Joker and Harley.
I'm about to spoil Joker's plan big style, because you're supposed to start from down, but if you actually instead get up, you have a bit of an advantage, although Joker will actually realize that in a second. Pay attention. Because his favorite trick, hostages and a bomb.
But since we're Batman, we already have a workaround.
Nobody likes a sore loser.
Oh, you think that's bad? You should hear how Riddler gets when you skip some of his puzzles in City.
So yeah, now you have the countdown of 2 minutes, and you don't even get one on screen. You just have to, you know, manually hear the tick-tock is happening.
So I guess, to be fair, while you did circumvent his plans, Joker decides, fine, I'm adaptable.
I mean, to be fair, it's still easy. There you go, just need to drop the chandelier from here, and then just drop down, and you're good to go. Like, it's 2 minutes is
Don't worry,
way
hostages,
generous.
I'm here. Don't worry, hostages, I'm here to save the... Oh, I squished the hostages.
I am a knight.
That would have sucked if the hostages were down there.
Do not open until before April 1st. Love, Joker. Exactly.
Only joking.
Right.
And it was a dud. But if the countdown fails, if countdown goes to 0, you still
Thank
fail.
you, Batman. Are they all gone?
Yes, you're safe. What happened?
It all happened so fast. Some patients broke in, began tearing up the place, like they were looking for something. Bill here fought back, but there were too many. They took Dr. Young. She
Oh
rushed
goody,
in here and
Dr.
they
Young was
followed.
taken potential prisoner.
When I came to, we were all tied
Boy,
up.
coming back to this game, I realized how a lot of our hostages were kind of repeat victims. And I don't just mean the NPCs,
Yes,
I mean a lot of named characters constantly
Working
get
with a
caught a
relatively
lot.
small cast, so that's what the logic that they're going with. Anyway, easy peasy, using detective vision, you find Dr. Young fingerprints, and that's where she pulled the formula. So we just need to actually burn it, and Batman does it by
Oracle. I found Dr. Young's formula.
spraying it with the explosive gel. What? Is it corrosive or something?
I guess it's that flammable.
No, not the formula. What am I going to do?
Yeah, it sounds so convincing.
Help me now. What's that?
See, that's also what is weird to me. Like, the game had that basically told us that was like the only major copy, and Joker shouldn't even know about the existence of a potential other one. But now the game is basically telling you no, he knows about that there's another one, and he's gonna basically beeline towards that. Again, it's just for the sake of having him being one step ahead of you.
To be fair, his audio tapes do imply that he had a ton of stuff already mapped out, and he does go on to say that this was like months of planning, so I would presume with all that planning, he would obviously either have backups on hand or, have stuff mapped out in mind so that stuff didn't go to crap, at least not so easily.
Yeah, you cannot access there yet. For the time being, we need to exit again and hopefully find Dr. Young before Zaz finds her, as the Joker said.
Like I mentioned earlier, though, going from Origins to this does make you think,
Bruce, you're okay
why?
again?
Oh. Uh-oh.
I'm sure it's nothing. Alright, tuning for the next part, where definitely nothing bad happens from Batman inhaling some strange gas again. See ya.
Absolutely.
See ya.